The first topic is urban deluge. Urban deluge. So what is the meaning of deluge? Any idea to anybody? Submergence. It's submergence. Submergence with water. Simply I can say like urban floods. Instead of urban deluge, you can also call it as urban floods. Are you able to hear me, online students?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So urban deluge. So why we are discussing this urban deluge in this context? Because every issue has its own context. Recently, and anyone is from Tamil Nadu? No one. Recently, the Chennai city has faced with lot of floods and it has submerged. Some portion of Chennai submerged. And it is not only the Chennai, but lot of other cities at various point of times has submerged because of this heavy rains. Because of this heavy rains. And if I ask you why, how you will solve all these problems, simply you will say like, sir, it is because of rains, what we will do? It is because of rains, what we will do? See, there is a natural disaster everywhere, but the human induced activities cause more damage to the people rather than nature. See, there is a landslides, and you are all aware landslides because you are in Kerala. When landslides happen, why landslides happen? It involves some geographical concept. I don't want to get into that, but landslides do happen. Did landslides only happen in Kerala? No, around the world it will happen. But it is causing more damage to the people in Kerala because people are living on the slopes of the hills. So is it the nature's mistake or is it the human being mistake? Human being. When it comes to earthquakes, see, if I live in a 30-floor building, then all the people in that building will die because of earthquake. But if I'm not suggesting that, but if I live simply in a hut, even if it is an earthquake, then I don't die. Maybe I'll survive with little injuries. So is it the nature that is killing or is it the human made mistakes are killing? So whenever you are talking about any disaster alone cannot bring lot of damage, but the man-made activities or the human-made activities are anthropogenic reasons, we call it as. So these anthropogenic reasons cause a lot of damage apart from natural damages. So you have to keep this point whenever a disaster happened, because you are the very beginners. Normally you think like, okay, it's a nature's curse, what we will do? No, even we have a natural curse, but what the anthropogenic factors are, as a human being on the name of development, what extra we are adding, that is we need to understand. And once we understand that, if we try to solve the problem to some extent, at least we can mitigate it. We can't stop the heavy rains. It's not in our hand. Even we are trying to understand why this many rains are occurring and what is the reason, climate change. So how we can do it, but I don't think so that we can control the climate change, but at least we can mitigate the harmful effects of the nature. But even in that case also, you cannot say like simply I can control the rains in such a way that only rain should happen from June to September or June to October. No, there is no such mechanism. It's not in our hand. But what all are in our hands, we can control it. And by controlling those things, we can reduce whatever the disastrous effect or whatever the lives are saving of the property or whatever it may be. So the same case with the floods also. And when I come to the floods of Brahmaputra is different to that of floods of Ganga. Floods of Ganga is different to that of floods of Godavari. Floods of Godavari is different to that of floods in rural area. Floods in rural area is different to that of floods in urban area. Floods in urban area is different to that of floods in Himalayan region. So all the floods are not same. In the sense, water is same, but the reasons, the effect, how we can mitigate, they are all different. Simply when I say flood, you cannot give the blanket solutions to all the floods. Blanket solution is the one solution for all. There is no concept called one solution for all. So as an individual, two people don't have the same habits. Like the nature based on the terrain, also reasons are many. So here in this topic, I am discussing only urban deluge or urban floods. I am not discussing the other floods. You have to be very careful. Otherwise, you think like it's total floods and you will write all these points. No, it is only urban floods. Okay, urban floods. Why you need to discuss the urban floods? Is it really so serious? Yes, it is serious. I'll give some figures later. I'll getting into the topic. Why it is so serious means it is not happened alone in Chennai. I'll give some statistical figures. In Hyderabad, 2020, very severe floods. Ahmedabad, 2001, 2020. Delhi, 2002, 3, 9, 10. Mumbai, 2005, even in 2019 also we got. Surat, 2006. Kolkata, 2007. Srinagar, 2014. Okay, barring the Srinagar, it's not such an urban city. But apart from, why I have given this figure is these urban floods are not happening only in one city. They are happening around the country. Don't say like the God of rain is so angry about all Indians, so that is why there is so much of amount of rain in every city. No. When you're looking into from Chennai to Hyderabad, actually Chennai last year, you can take it up. This is 2021 and once it happened in 2016 also. Okay. But if you're looking into Hyderabad, Chennai, Ahmedabad, Delhi, Mumbai, irrespective of their geographical location, almost all metropolitan cities are experiencing this heavy floods. And why you need to discuss is because it is affecting the metropolitan cities, and I've taken only few cities. But economically, if you understand the importance of cities, now what is the population of urban area population? Do you know what is the percentage? 30% according to 2011. Maybe 2021 we have to do, but you know the reasons, COVID and all. But certainly it may extend up to 35 if I'm not wrong, 34 to 35. So 34 to 35% of the population is living in urban area. And it's not only the population. The urban area is contributing to 60% of our GDP. 60% of our GDP. I think you have not started that GDP and all in your economy. In a simple term, anyway, you will understand the technical term while you are studying the economy. In a simple term, the producing ability of this country, how much amount this country can produce. What country produce? Either goods or services. Goods can be agricultural thing or manufacturing chairs, anything. So a country is having a potential of a production of 100 rupees worth of goods and services. From that, 60 rupees worth is happening only in urban areas. If urban areas are affected, then our production come down, then it leads to reduction in growth that is not at all good for the country. So that is the reason why we need to understand the urban area. See, today you take about Pradhana Mantri Awas Yojana urban, smart cities, Amrut cities. These are all focusing on urban areas. Because at one point of time, Mahatma Gandhi said like India lives in villages. But if you understand the present pattern of development, I am not advocating that this pattern is good or bad. But I can comment that if you think like India is living in villages, perhaps we may not grow. Now India is living in urban areas. Is it really good? And what about this pollution, sustainability? These are all issues comes. If you really want to solve, okay, that's a different issue. How we can really take this development to the rural areas. But first understand, now India is living in urban areas. Urban area is contributing more, not that I'm undermining the rural areas. So why I am giving all this introduction is you need to understand the importance of urban area. If you don't understand the importance of urban area, you don't understand the importance of urban floods. You simply think like, okay, it's a flood, it's a flood. No. If suddenly something happened to the urban area and if there is a power shortage for 24 hours or 36 hours, can you imagine what amount of loss that this country is going to incur? Because it's not a normal city, it's a Bombay. If it happens in Trivandrum, I can understand. Nothing will happen because not much business activity. But you can imagine the Hyderabad or Chennai or Bangalore. So the point is that is the importance of urban area. So now in urban area, this is the history I have given in the last 20 years. Last 20 years, this is happening. Now, what are the reasons to this? What are the reasons to this? How we can contain it? So how we can contain it means once you know the reasons, then only you can say like we can contain this aspect. First of all, we have to know the reasons. I'll come to that reasons and I'll come to effects of this urban flooding and I'll come to how we can really solve this problem. But one thing I can say, recently, which country has affected with lot of floods? Any idea to anybody apart from India? Some country in Europe, Germany. Germany has affected with serious floods. And again, don't say like, okay, so rain is heavy in Germany also. So wherever there is a flood, we can understand it is because of rain. Because without rain, there is no flood. Rain is a natural phenomenon. Rain has not started today. They have been since generations. But what is problem with Germany? Then what is problem with America? That means it is not a local phenomena. It's a global phenomena. India alone, India can solve its own problem, but you need a global effort to solve this problem. You need a global effort to solve this problem. There must be an international level consensus on this, how we can mitigate the urban floods, because everywhere urban areas are getting a lot of importance. Everywhere urban areas are getting a lot of importance. So an urban planning is a universal phenomenon posing a greater challenge to the urban planners across the world. Urban areas cannot develop like rural areas. No, urban area need a plan. Rural area don't need any plan because they were there since generations, and they will say, and after all, suppose if really the urban, if rural area is increasing, hardly that officer at the panchayat level will come to collect some taxes and he will give some approval to plan. But when it comes to the urban area, it's not like that. There must be a plan, because urban area involves lot of things. And did anyone is from civil engineering? Engineering, that to civil engineering background? No one. So the civil engineers works in this department, the urban development department. I think you have urban development ministry in Kerala also. But unfortunately, we are not improving our capacities. And we are not even today, we wanted to collect more taxes and we wanted to concentrate entire development to the urban area, but we don't want to develop the urban areas in a proper manner. That's a big challenge, big challenge. And even Niti Aayog in its report, Urban Planning Capacity Report, Urban Planning Capacity Report, there was a report, capacity report. And in this Urban Planning Capacity Report, Niti Aayog has clearly mentioned that, unfortunately, in our country, urban planning has not receiving enough attention. There are many problems when it comes to urban area, but I just myself want to focus to only floods. But I'll give simple example. You have seen what happened on the day when Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced a 14-day lockdown. And all the people in Bombay, Hyderabad, Delhi, I don't know about Trivandrum, all the people were on the streets and they are in railway stations. All the laborers from different parts of the country. Why? Why they are on the street? Because Prime Minister has believed something like if you are able to contain the movement of people for at least 14 days, then the virus may not spread and it will kill there itself. That's what their preliminary idea. But what is the problem in this country? A laborer cannot live in an urban area without even a work for single day. And he cannot maintain social distance in whatever the ghettos in which he is living. That is the pathetic condition in urban area. That is the pathetic condition in urban area. And in a single room, they cannot maintain a social distance, and that too they are living in a slums. Just imagine if that slum is affected with the floods, how much amount damage that it causes to that poor family, that to migrant family. So just I'm giving the importance of urban area. So now I'll discuss the reasons to this, and after that I'll come to the solutions. First reason is rain is absolutely reason. I'm not getting into that rain. Rain is one reason. And I'll come to that rain also. Expansion of peri-urban areas. Expansion of peri-urban areas. Peri-urban areas. So what does it mean, expansion of peri-urban area? It's a spatial expansion of city. Spatial expansion of city. See, this is city, but now it is expanding. Why it is expanding? And when you study urbanization in an appropriate subject, you will study like push and pull factors. In some ways, city is attracting the rural people. In some ways, rural area is pushing you out of the rural area. And in search of employment, you are coming. But in some areas, urban area is attracting you. But many reasons. Because of that reasons, now the city is expanding. When the city is expanding, what is happening is, every city, to that extent, every village is having some water tank, is having some drainage outlets. Normally, cities or villages are built in a higher land, not in a lower land. Because they know, people know where we need to develop a city. So generally, conveniently, they will choose the higher lands and they will allow all the water of the higher land into the lower land. But when you are expanding the city, you cannot expand the city like this. Okay, here some low-lying area, so I will develop the city here. So here I will develop the city here. I will develop. You cannot call it as a city. They are satellite towns. That's a different story. You cannot develop like this because everyone want to connect with this mainland city. Everyone want to connect with the mainland city. So that is why what you are doing, you are started settling here. Now all the low-lying areas now completely occupied either by residential areas or by industrial areas. You need industries and you need residents. Okay, now someone has given permission and okay, fine. Suddenly there was a rain and rain may not happen in 1 year. See, you cannot understand the cycle, this natural rhythm. It is very difficult to understand. There is no certain period like, okay, for every 6 years you will get huge amount of rain, or for every 5 years you will get huge amount of rain, and because of so and so you will get. See, we are trying to our level best, but in my point of view, even today we are not predicting the nature correctly. That's a major problem, not only to India. I think she has given Germany also. Okay, India is a developing country, poor country, I can understand. What about Germany? Developed country, but still it is very difficult for them. And you don't know when you are going to get the huge amount of rain. Okay, when rain occurred, earlier the facility was there to city that whenever there is a excess amount of rain or excess amount of water, then it has to come and it has to settle in these lower rung areas. Now what happened in that lower area? It's completely built up with buildings and industries. Now all the residential areas are submerged. Now we are saying no, because of there is so much amount of rain, the half of the city of Chennai has submerged. It's not half of the city of the Chennai. It was once a peri-urban area of Chennai has submerged. So the reason, you cannot blame the rain, you have to blame yourself. Why you have settled here? Maybe the planners, maybe the real estate people, maybe the people. And they may not be always rich people, maybe poor people also. That means our urban design is not proper. Our urban design is not proper. There must be a master plan for every city. I'll come to this master plan while I'm giving the solutions. But unfortunately, because of the spatial expansion of the city, we are occupying the peri-urban areas. That too, some of them are lakes, some of them are tanks. Okay, first reading. Next, second is some of the cities are having their location in the coastal area of rivers. In the coastal area of rivers. Every river has its own floodplain. We call it as wetland. So maybe a river looks like, okay, it is flowing in a normal year or normal season like this. But in an extraordinary time, whenever there is a huge inflow to this river, then water will extend and flow up to this point. But not what normally will do. Okay, anyway, there is no rain. So because of climate change and all, you don't get any rains. So we will start occupying these floodplains. We will also call it as wetlands sometimes, wetlands. So these floodplains will do two functions. One is whatever the drainage water that is there in the city, and if you release into this, then these wetlands will allow that water to percolate down. Whenever there is an excess amount of rain, this water will spread up to this area and water will percolate so that this flood water may not entering into the city. But what you have done? You have occupied complete all these things. Only the embankments that you have done, some cement embankments here. And you never realize that the water potential is so high, and these cement, whatever the structures you are making, they may not sustain it. And ultimately it is coming into the urban areas. And recently I have seen in Andhra Pradesh, in Nellore, Tirupati, I think you know Tirupati town. In Tirupati town also it happened. Because Tirupati town was such a town, I think there are around 200 tanks are there in that city, around 200. Because it was so close to Seshachalam hills. I think, did anyone visited Tirupati? So those who visited Tirupati, they can understand Lord Venkateshwara on that hills, but all the water springs and water that is coming from that Seshachalam hills now will drain into Tirupati town. And the Tirupati town earlier was designed in such a way that these water is channelized into particular different tanks. Now on the name of development, all these tanks are completely submerged. But they are in lower area. You cannot plane this area. It's very difficult because it's a nature. So what they have done? So they have started constructing all the houses in that lower area, and suddenly there was a huge rain. And I think according to the reports, last time it was happened maybe in 2005. In the last 15 years, it was a huge rain. And because of that, entire Tirupati's town has completely submerged. So this flood, okay, if it is in coastal, if it is in on the coast of a river, then this floodplains and wetlands are, while the city is expanding in the peri-urban areas, maybe the lakes and tanks you are occupying. Because of that, this is happening. Next. Drainage system. See, what is the meaning of this drainage? Is sewerage same as that of drainage, or sewerage is different to that of drainage? Sewerage means what? What all the water we used, wastewater. Drainage in the sense it's a natural flow of water. Drainage need not be sewerage. Sewerage is completely what normally the used water. Okay. So drainage system. Drainage system means every city is having its own drainage system. If you see, normally it's not about whatever the water we have used. It's not only that, but if suddenly there is a rain, so much amount of water will clog on the roads, and that water also you need to remove. For that you need a drainage system. It's not only the purpose that the drainage should connect to every household. That is fine. That is one aspect. The other aspect is normally apart from the houses, there is a huge amount of rain. Then where that water should go? So you must have a drainage system. And the drainage system, we have developed it. We have developed it. But what is the size of drainages that you have developing? And in some cities, because I am from Hyderabad, I can give an example of Hyderabad. The drainage system of Hyderabad was designed by the Nizam at that point of time. Nizam means prior to 1948. Prior to 1948, Hyderabad princely state was ruled by Nizam. It's not by Britishers. So you will study all these things in your history and polity. Don't worry about it. But at that point of time, Nizam has developed that drainage system. Today, so much amount of population, so many people came, so many residential areas, and you wanted to connect that all the pipes into the single drainage. And if suddenly rains happen on everyone's building, there is a huge amount of water. Now that entire water is coming and now it is entering into the same little drain. Do you think that little rain can withstand such a huge amount of flow? No. Suddenly it will burst somewhere in the road. And when it bursts, then entire water will come into the road and all the colonies will submerge. So the drainage system, the existing drainage system is not updating according to the requirements. So that is the reason why floods are happening. Next. This concretization, you can understand. Concretization. We are not allowing, and see, even in rural areas, though it is a huge amount of rain, why floods not occurring? Because in urban area, you are completely making the city as a concrete jungle. All the roads, drains, building, we don't want to see the normal land. And when this happens, when suddenly there is a little amount of rain, there is no scope for the water to percolate into the ground, and every drop of water will come outside. So then it has become a huge flow. So because of this concretization, the urban floods are occurring even if the amount of rain is so little. Okay. Next. Improper solid waste management. Improper solid waste management. Improper solid waste management. What does it mean? Mainly plastic. See, you purchased something and you brought something from the outside and you don't want to segregate that waste and simply have put all the waste into the drain. And this entire thing went and they have clogged somewhere. Suddenly there was a little amount of rain, and because of this plastic, and plastic was the main reason, because remaining products, some of them are biologically they can disintegrate, but when it comes to the plastic, it cannot. And this plastic is choking the drains. And there is a huge amount of flow from here, and it has to, and there is a drain here, and it has to flow from here to here. But because your plastic has choked the drain here, now this entire amount of water will come from this and it has become a flood. So the improper solid waste management is also a reason. Improper solid waste management is also a reason. Next. Ultimately, I'll come to the point, climate change. Climate change. See, climate change in the COP26 summit, I have explained to some extent, this climate is changing. Climate in the sense, the weather conditions on an average period of 30 years. So it is changing. Why it is changing? Because of all these emissions, it is changing. Okay, if it changes, how can you sense that it is changing? Because the global temperature is increasing. And this increased global temperature is having many effects. And in IPCC report, if time permits, I'll discuss for you also, maybe some other day. According to IPCC report, there are many effects are there. like heat waves, cold waves, coastal submergence, urban flooding, shortage of water, water scarcity, like there are many things. But exactly how it is going to affect your Trivandrum, don't know. It can affect in general, but we cannot say exactly how it can affect Mumbai city, how it can affect Hyderabad city. We don't have such a sophisticated, delicate models to understand. And we don't know suddenly why there is a huge amount of rain in the Bombay city within 24 hours. On average, we are getting excess amount of rain, but the main problem is if the average amount of rain is very high, we can deal. But the problem is it not average rain. The problem is huge amount of rain is coming in a very short duration of time. We call it as cloud burst. Cloud burst. And this cloud burst is happening, huge volume of rain is happening in a limited period of time, and it is very difficult to handle until and unless your infrastructure is designed in such a way. That's what you need to understand. So you cannot blame, see, the point is you cannot change this climate change, but that is the reason. We need to understand the reality before you design your city. Simply you can say that why should I design my drain to sustain such a level of water? Anyway, it will happen in once in 100 years. But if you don't design, whatever the city that you are go on building, the develop for 100 years will be submerged in one day. There is no use. There is no use. And you know, once the city is submerged, the demand for the lands and everything comes down. No one want to go to that city. No one want to start a business. No one want to put an investment in that city. There are many problems. So the climate change is a reason. How climate change is a reason? Because it is bringing huge amount of rain in a shorter period of time. It is very difficult to handle in urban areas. In urban areas. So these are some of the reasons. These are some of the reasons for urban flooding. Tell me the losses. Losses. So what are the losses? Are the effects, negative effects? Anyway, you know, it's normal points. Loss of life, property, livelihood. Loss of property, life and livelihood. Life, property, livelihood. Secondary effects like water contamination, exposure to some of the vector-borne diseases. I think you can understand what is vector-borne disease, like malaria and all. So water contamination and vector-borne disease. If water is contaminated, you will get diarrhea and some other diseases. Next. Luckily, if you have any reservoir in the city, and because of this water, if that bunds are washed away, then there is a scarcity to the water. This is happening. Scarcity to what? Scarcity to water, drinking water. Urban land value comes down. Urban land value comes down. Whatever the development and whatever the city you are projecting, then entire the credit or whatever the reputation of that city comes down. That in turns affect the development. That in turns affect the development. And one more thing, the slums are adding more amount of damage to the existing problem. The slums are adding more amount of problem, because slum, in the sense, the meaning of the slum itself is it is not properly designed or developed. Slum means that if it is properly designed and developed, you can't call it as a slum. In slum there is no proper structure where there need to be a house, and how much distance you need to maintain from one house to another house, and how you must have a drainage system in this thing, and how many floors are accepted and how many floors are not accepted. What is the capacity of the drain here? How you can have the electricity? These are all not properly designed. That is what we call it as slum. And if suddenly this flow occur, or suddenly if these floods happened in the slums, it creates lot of damage to the buildings because they are not properly designed. The buildings also not designed properly. Simply without taking permissions, they will construct. And that buildings may not sustain the volume of the flood, and suddenly they may collapse. And the people, the slum itself, huge amount of many Many people are living in a shorter or in a limited square area. That is what the slum. And if there is a loss to the life, many people will die. And there is no separate places for them to keep. Suppose, just assume you are having a rice bag in your home and some cash and gold with you, and suddenly if you realize that there is a flood somewhere, you will shift it to the top floor. But there are no top floors to the slum people. There is only one room, and even they don't have shelves and all. Where they have to keep? They don't keep anywhere. All the rice, everything, money, gold, everything damaged. And the electricity system, such a pathetic. And if suddenly some short circuit happened and something happened, lot of electrocution may happen. So the climate change is the main reason, and the urban development is another reason. And among all, the slums are adding lot of damage to this problem. So this is also we need to consider. Now I'll come to the solutions, how we can solve this problem. How we can solve this problem. First of all, I'll give very general solutions given by some experts. I told you, like, it's a problem of universe. Everywhere it is happening. Global flood management system. Global flood management system. Global flood management system. This is a system designed by NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration. It's an American space agency. By collecting data, they have designed a detailed protocol. Protocol for what? Global flood management system. Protocol means a sequence. Protocol is nothing but a sequence. Okay. So if at all you want to control the floods, what you need to do? So from forecasting to designing the cities, to respond in a proper manner, to relief, rescue. So NASA has prepared a system, and please adopt that system. That's the only solution. And what exactly that system contains, like what all the problems we have discussed now, solutions to these problems were mentioned in that system. Next, when it comes to India specific, GIS based master plan. See, if you open the Google map, you can see clearly where the building presents and where it is normal area and where it is plain area, where it is hilly area. But still that Google map don't give full information. You cannot find out at what height this particular locality is located. You don't know all these things. Earlier that was only monopolized with the Survey of India, but recently Government of India, in the month of February, they have decontrolled this geospatial data. Now anyone can use that data, but anyway it will take some time. But that is necessary, and unfortunately we are giving the data, we are using the data only for very special purposes, because we have a lot of apprehensions that if this data getting into the hands of the foreigners or the terrorists, we have lived in that apprehensions for last 70 years. But today we realize that every city planner must know all these facts. And until and unless you don't know, see, you will go to the planner, oh, he will give a beautiful design and you will be so surprised to see that design, but he don't know at what height your particular house is going to be located. He don't know. He just give you a planning, and it's a very good building, but unfortunately you are in a lower lying area, and if suddenly flood comes, then your entire house will submerge. He don't know. So you need an urban planning, which is GIS based. That means with respect to the geography, you have to design the city, and you need that master plan. Master plan means, I'll tell you. Master plan means, suppose for the sake, understand, this is Trivandrum core city Trivandrum. Now there is a huge population coming into Trivandrum. Now I want to develop. Before I want to develop, I must know the geography of this entire urban areas of Trivandrum. Now, in this, now I have to identify the areas which are located at a height. Just assume this some area, this is some area, and this is some area, this is some area. So now you have to build the road. Again, in this road, you have to design it properly. Okay, again, this is a road. This is a sub road. This is a sub road. So here, houses. So this entire drainage, okay, it will be connected here, and here again a Trivandrum drain comes. So likewise, if you know the geography, accordingly you can plan the city. And this is, okay, again low-lying area, and here there is some area. Okay, so I will allocate this area for industrial purpose, where industries can be started. If you don't know that geography, it is very difficult to plan the city. And according to the Niti Aayog, 65% of our urban localities, they have given urban center number as 7,933. 7,933 urban settlements are there in our country. In that urban settlements, 65% of the urban settlements, they don't have the master plan. They don't have the master plan. If you don't have the master plan, how can you settle the people in the city? It's very difficult. I'm a person, I migrated to Trivandrum because I find a good job here. I want to construct a house. So I will go to the Trivandrum Municipal Corporation to take the permission. And they will give the permission, and they don't know where they are giving. They don't know whether they are giving on a road or they are giving on a tank or a lake. They don't know. It is their duty that first of all, they must have this broader idea, and they must point out where you are going to construct. And is it in an acceptable area? Are they going to face any problem in future? And accordingly, you have to give the permission. And accordingly, you have to lay the roads. Accordingly, you have to construct the drainages. Accordingly, you need to give the electricity connection. But 65% of the countries don't have these master plans. Though they have master plans, it is of 15 or 20 years old. You cannot have a 15 or 20 years of old master plan. The master plan has to be revised for every 5 or 6 years, because urban areas are changing drastically. So that master plan and designing a master plan with this geographical information is compulsory. And suppose I am new to this Trivandrum city and I don't know, because I want to construct a house, I'm purchasing some land here. And I'll go, some real estate people are there and they are selling and everything is okay, so now I'm purchasing. But I never realized that it is completely, once upon a time it was a tank, now they have completely make it as a plain, and now they are doing all this flatting there. I don't know. Simply because they will construct some compounding wall and they will do a lot of mischiefs, whatever they want to, and they will try to sell it, and I'm purchasing it. And as a citizen new to this city, I don't know anything. And as a government, they have to provide something they are not doing. And ultimately what is happening is the city is submerging. And after submergence, you can come and you can give lot of compensation. But compensation cannot solve the problem. Again, it will come. Maybe after again 10 years or 15 years. So this master plan is very, very important. And you must understand what is master plan. You cannot simply write, okay, master plan. Likewise, you cannot remember. You need to understand. That is second. Next. Land use management. And on land use management, the questions were asked many times in UPSC mains. What is the meaning of land use management? You have a land. But how will you use it? This is the entire city. Now these are the roads. Just assume. So now I will start constructing the building. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like I have constructed all the buildings in the city. This is one way of land using. But if you constructed a city like that, then how will you get the groundwater? Because entirely, completely coated with concrete. you must have a park. You must have some a water soaking area. If suddenly rain comes, what will you do? If you don't have any lower lying area somewhere, you need to leave some space here so that the water comes here and they will percolate, and so that they will give some groundwater to you. There must be some recreation, and provide some space in front of your home so that at least some water will percolate, and so that the groundwater improves, and so that it can control to some extent a flood control. So these are all necessary. So the land in the city, how you are using is again important. If you go on constructing, then you can't solve the problem. You are going to face the problem with a much more severity. So land use pattern again is very, very important. Land use pattern. How you are going to use the land in the urban area. I can understand urban area is very costly area. It is very difficult to leave a single whatever the cent of land. But if you want to sustain the cities, then definitely you have to construct the cities like this. There must be enough greenery. Today we are talking about floods, but tomorrow there may be a crisis of more and more carbon dioxide. Who knows from where you will get the air? Then I think now we are experiencing in Delhi, every year some 3 to 4 days they are in completely lockdown. They are purchasing oxygen cylinders. Literally they are inhaling the toxic gases. So you need to understand. So the land use pattern of urban area is very, very important. Next. Forecasting of rains and reservoir management. I think recently one reservoir has fled away in Andhra Pradesh, Annamaya project. Are you aware? You are not reading newspapers. Some people are aware. Okay, Annamaya project has completely washed away because do you know that? I think you know the difference between reservoir and a dam. Reservoir means storage area, dam means whatever the concrete structure. And your reservoir is having only limited capacity, and your dam is designed to such a level that only if a flow comes with some volume, then only this barrage can sustain. But if there is a huge inflow to this into this reservoir, and if you are unable to predict it, and if you are unable to control that, then entire this whatever the dam will wash away, and this entire water will getting into the nearby areas. And luckily, if there is an urban area, there is a huge amount of loss. So you need to maintain the reservoirs properly. How much amount of water inflow is coming? How much capacity we have to release the outflow? That is very important. And when it comes to the forecasting rains, as I told in the initial itself, it is very difficult to predict the rains here. I'm not undermining the IMD, but I have a great experience with this IMD. Whenever they say like there is a rain, we don't get the rain. But anyhow, your Trivandrum is so close to the Arabian Ocean, so it's rains are very normal here. And you people are completely habituated to all these rains. But in other cities, it's very difficult. If suddenly there is a rain, huge amount of traffic jam, people will shift their timings. See, an officer, let us take a software employee working from, just assume, from morning 7 to evening 5. And if suddenly there is a rain in the evening 5 o'clock, then he don't leave the office. He will stay up to night 8 or 8:30 or 9. He will complete the work and he will do extra work. Then he will leave the office from 9 o'clock. Because he knows that if he start at 5, it will take 10 or 11 to reach the home. So this prediction is very, very important, and unfortunately we are not predicting it properly. So because a lot of people depends on this rain, all urban transportation system, exports, imports, transporting some of the materials, flights, trains, important meetings, many things are there. So don't take it as so simple activity, interlinked to each other. So this forecasting of rains and reservoir management is very, very important. If you're really able to give a certain prediction, people will plan accordingly so that the business activity cannot halt. Next. Again, in the master plan, please protect the plan, please protect the lakes, protect the tanks, protect the floodplains, protect the wetlands. These will save us. These will save us while you are developing. And you need a detailed plan. I'll tell you one more thing. See, again, I'll take the same example of Trivandrum. This is Trivandrum. So, okay, you have followed everything. It's okay. It's very good. Okay, it's complete. You have a good master plan. Land use pattern is also very good. And you are able to predict the rains in a proper manner. You are maintaining the reservoirs properly. Very good master plan. But what happened is rain happened in this huge amount of area, but not alone in Trivandrum. If huge amount of rain happened at the regional level instead of city level, then there is a chance that some amount of flood from other parts also may enter Trivandrum. And your Trivandrum city's master plan is designed to such a level. But you cannot do this design for every city, but wherever you consider cities are strategic and important, you need to make a regional plan. If at all I'll get a flood from maybe 50 or 60 kilometers apart, I should also handle that, and I must provide proper infrastructural drainage facilities in these areas also, so that I don't allow more amount of flood to this city. Regional planning. Okay. Next. One more thing. See, you know, cantonment area. I think here we have a cantonment area. Under which ministry these cantonment areas works? Ministry of Defense. Even you cannot lay the road in that area, they themselves lay their own roads. And there was like around 54 cantonment areas are there. See, in a city, who will actually construct the drains? Who will actually construct the drains? This is a question. Answer is, who construct the road, they will construct the drain. Who construct the road, they will construct the drain. It's not like a separate agency to work with Ministry of Drains. There is no Ministry of Drains. Who will construct the road? They will construct the drain. Who are constructing the roads? Roads are not constructed by single agency. There are different agencies are there. Ministry of Highways or Surface Transportation, I think Nitin Gadkari was the minister. He is responsible with construction of national highways. There are some roads constructed by state government. There are some roads constructed by, I don't know what you call here, Jilla Parishads and Mandal Parishads. Okay, but whatever the lower level, whatever the local authorities know, this local authority has given some power, and with whatever the funds they have, they are going to construct some roads. And suddenly, if you find this cantonment area, Ministry of Defense construct the drains there. And suddenly, if you have a central public sector undertaking or any agency, they will do their own activity. And luckily, if you have a combination of all these things in your city, suppose this is a rural area and rural area has constructed a road here to connect the city. And likewise, you have constructed different roads here. And everyone constructed their own drain. And one drain is connected to the other drain. And Ministry of Defense, they have huge amount of budget, so they can construct a voluminous drains. And rural area people, they cannot construct, and they are constructed only small drains. And state government is having a different design. Some other people have a different design. If a huge amount of flow comes to these drains, this can withstand, but here it cannot. So there must be a uniformity in designing the drains, though it is executed by a different agencies. Is it clear? Strengthening the urban local governments, because they must be given autonomy, enough autonomy to decide how they wanted to do. All the state governments who are sitting at the secretariat cannot decide. They don't know the realities. Realities are something different. Next, strengthening National Disaster Management Authority, National Disaster Response Force, State Disaster Response Force, but this will come only when disaster occurs. It's not a preventive thing. It's not a preventive thing, but you need to. And at least at the time of this urban deluge, you please must communicate to the people, at least so that they can maintain a kitchen management, like whatever I have said. If you give some information in advance, so that they will keep all their essentials at a particular safe place, so that we can reduce whatever the damage. And one more thing, China is actually implementing it. Probably you might have heard about this sponge cities. So what sponge will do? It absorbs the water. And sponge city means you must design a city in such a way that whatever the water that is coming into that city in the form of rain must be absorbed by the city. Then you can control all these things. And here, according to the Chinese model, you need to manage the water at 3 levels. One is, and prior to the sponge city, soaking pits, very important at each and every house level, and municipalities must promote it, so that you should not release whatever the water, because it gives the enough amount of groundwater to you, and at the same time it also acts as a controller of the floods. Anyhow, tanks in the city, first level, tanks in the city. That means in the city itself, you need to construct some tanks, so that if you send that water into the tank, let it absorbs after some time. Next, second one, carved canals. See, we have a habit, I'll tell you, in urban area, and probably you might know, our canals are like this. Sorry, not even like this. Straight canals, that too with a concrete coating. Straight canal with a concrete coating. You can understand the problem. But instead of having a concrete coating, and if I able to design my canals in such a way, during the course itself, some amount of water is absorbed. This is one under the sponge cities. Third one is no construction in low-lying areas. Not at all acceptable. If you want a city, develop a satellite city. Satellite city in the sense, around Trivandrum, you can develop some 2 to 3 cities like this, satellites. But don't congest the city itself, because it is going to affect a lot once you are affected with these floods. So these are some of the solutions that I can give. I think you understood what is an urban deluge and what are the reasons and how we can solve to some extent with whatever the available things we can, because you cannot control the climate. But at least we can control our own activity. In paper 1, geography, you will definitely get this question. Even if you don't get a question directly as an urban deluge or urban flooding, but you will get it in a different way where you can use this knowledge. Very, very, very important topic. Don't think like I know everything about floods. I think now you understood how much you know. Very important question, because in the mains paper 1, you are having geography, history and society. Geography generally, sometimes they are asking some conceptual questions like plate tectonics theory, how these volcanoes forms. But nowadays, they are not asking. Even though they ask, they will confine that conceptual questions to 2 to 3. Remaining all are, they are focusing on this urban geography. That to the recent problems that what we are facing. And this is a very big problem. Okay. Do you have any doubts in this? No? Any doubts? No? Shall I move to the next topic?
Amrita IAS Academy.